We found in the new orphanage in the northern part of the Kite along the banks of the dried-up Kabul River. It was a flat, barrack-style building with splintered walls and windows boarded with planks of wood. Farid had told me on the way there that Kite had been one of the most war-ravaged neighborhoods in Kabul, and as we stepped out of the truck, the evidence was overwhelming. The cratered streets were flanked by a little more than ruins of shelled buildings and abandoned homes. We passed the rust skeletons of an overturned car, a TV set with no screen half buried in rubble, a wall with the words "Send the bad Taliban! Long live the Taliban!" sprayed in black. A short, thin, balding man with a shaggy gray beard opened the door. He wore a ragged tweed jacket, a skull cap, and a pair of eyeglasses with one chipped lens resting on the tip of his nose. Behind the glasses, tiny eyes like black peas flit from me to Farid. "Salam alaikum," he said. "Salam alaikum," I said. I showed him the Polaroid. "We're searching for this boy." He gave the photo a cursory glance. "I am sorry, I have never seen him." "You barely look at the picture, my friend," Farid said. "Why not take a closer look?" "Lot fun," I added. "Please." The man behind the door took the picture, studied it, handed it back to me. "Nah, sorry. I know just about every single child in this institution, and that one doesn't look familiar. No, if you will permit me, I have work to do." He closed the door, locked the bolt. I rapped on the door with my knuckles. Aga, please, open the door. We don't mean him to any harm." "I told you he's not here." His voice came from the other side. "Now, please go away." Farid stepped up the door, rested his forehead on it. "Friend, we're not with the Taliban," he said in a low, cautious voice. "The man who is with me wants to take this boy to a safe place." "I come from Peshawar," I said. "A good friend of mine knows an American couple there who run a charity home for children." I felt the man's presence on the other side of the door, sensing him standing there, listening, hesitating, caught between suspicion and hope. "Look, I know Sora's father," I said. "His name was Hassan. His mother's name was Farzana. He called his grandmother Sasa. He knows how to read and write, and he's good with a slingshot. There is hope for this boy, Aga. A way out. Please, open the door." From the other side, only silence. "I'm his half-uncle," I said. A moment passed. Then a key rattled on the lock. The man's narrow face reappeared in the crack. He looked from me to Farid and back. "You were wrong about one thing." "What?" "He's great with a slingshot." I smiled. "He's inseparable from that thing. He tucks it in the waist of his pants everywhere he goes." The man who let us in introduced himself as Saman, the director of the orphanage. "I will take you to the office," he said. We followed him through dim, grimy hallways where barefoot children dressed in frayed sweaters ambled around. He walked past rooms with no door covering but matte carpets and windows shattered with sheets of plastic. Skeleton frames of steel beds, most with no mattress, filled the rooms. "How many orphans live here?" Farid asked. "More than we have room for. About 250. Someone said over his shoulder. "But they are not all yatim. Many of them have lost their father in the war. And their mothers can't feed them because the Taliban don't allow them to work. So they bring their children here. This place is better than the street, but not as much better. This building was never meant to be lived in. It used to be a storage warehouse for a carpet manufacturer. So there is no water heater, and they have let the well go dry." He drops his voice. "I have asked the Taliban for money to dig a new well more times than I remember that, and they just twirl their rosaries and tell me there is no money. No money." He snickered. He pointed to a row of beds along the wall. "We don't have enough beds, and not enough mattresses. For the beds we do have. Worse, we don't have enough blankets." He showed us a little girl skipping rope with other kids. "You see that girl? This past winter, the children had to share blankets. Her brother died of exposure. He walked on. The last time I checked, we have less than a month's supplies of rice left in the warehouse. And when that runs out, the children will have to eat bread and tea for breakfast and dinner. I noticed he made no mention to lunch. He stopped and turned to me. There is very little shelter here. Almost no food, no clothes, no clean water. What I have in ample supply here is children who have lost their childhood. But the tragedy is that these are the lucky ones. We are filled beyond capacity, and every day I run away mothers who bring their children. He took a step forward me. You say there is hope for Sorab? I pray you don't lie, Aga, but you might well be too late. What do you mean? Someone's eye shift. Follow me.